Welcome to One More Game presented by Hoosier Pickleball. I am your host, Matt Brandenberger, alongside my goldenly glowing wife. I don't even know if goldenly is a word, but it is today.
It's not. Is it because I'm tan?
Yeah, it could be. And it also, spoiler alert, we're going to cover it a little later.
I see what you did there.
You're golden.
Oh.
So
I'm confused like everybody else.
You just wait, Adam.
You'll hear.
The lonely producer just hanging out.
And this is Adam Marino, as always, on the board.
Also glowing.
Also glowing.
Apparently.
Or shining, I don't know.
So here we are, episode 8 of our podcast for those who love pickleball, but life be crazy. Life has been especially crazy.
Man, I'm so excited to hear about the trip to Florida and hear how you guys played. Like, I'm so excited.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack. We're going to try to do it in
a very short time.
Yeah, about 20, 25 minutes, something like that.
And go.
And go.
Go.
So.
Okay, let's talk about, so in Florida.
Yeah.
We say to this little Airbnb, this is just part of the crazy. This is my life is crazy story.
Yeah.
We say to this little Airbnb, listen, I'm not gonna, it was fine. It was a fine. There was a
fine establishment.
It was a fine.
It was not a fine
Would recommend.
Would not recommend.
Anyway.
Very nice. I mean, I hate to say that. I mean, it's not like we're giving away who the host was or anything.
It was fine.
Very nice lady, but just hard to communicate with and hard to...
the house was gross.
Yeah, the house. We walked. Our first impression of it, there was a baby dead lizard on the kitchen floor.
Smushed on the kitchen floor.
When we walked
Which
in.
I then proceeded to drop our blueberries on top of. So I had to throw the blueberries away.
Well, we washed them, and I said I would eat them.
5-second rule.
Yeah.
Not a dead lizard.
No.
That's a 0-second rule.
It was,
but you could save 15% on your car insurance by switching.
That's right.
You're...
Yeah.
Oh,
you know,
that's a gecko.
Oh, that is a gecko.
This was a salamander. I don't know what it was.
I know the difference.
I don't know.
I know podcasts.
It was a lizard.
Anywho, here's the point. Let's just wrap this up, guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
The whole thing?
We're done.
Okay.
That's our show for
There
today,
was
guys.
no...
We stayed on time at least.
The hot water was lacking all week.
Dude.
Very disappointing. Okay, no, it gets better. Lukewarm showers all week, right? Which is fine. I suffered.
Not really.
This is my joke, because I feel like this is America. I should have hot showers. Yeah. Because really, in reality, are we spoiled that we have hot showers? So.
Absolutely.
So then we come home, and our hot water heater's broken.
Karma.
It's been a week.
And we haven't had a hot water all week.
But then this is my favorite part.
This is the best part.
We played earlier this week at Wildwood, where we play our pickleball during the winter, and we're like, oh, we'll just shower afterwards.
I've been showering in random places.
Yeah, and so I took a fine hot shower at Wildwood. It was beautiful, but the women's...
No hot water.
So she's the one that's cursed.
Oh my God.
So,
I haven't had hot water in so long.
Right.
I did shower at the Y yesterday, though.
Yeah.
Hot water, 10 stars.
Shout out to the Y.
10 stars.
10 stars. My first hot shower in a really long time.
Very good. So let's kind of set up this episode by saying we're going to be talking about Florida. Florida was the Diamond Amateur National Championships. Is that how we say that? So it essentially was, we qualified for this by winning the regionals, which was here in Fort Wayne, and there were regionals all over the country. And then this was there were no pros at this event, which was different. Kind of liked it, kind of missed having the pros around. But it was all amateurs, so different format. We'll get into some of that.
And we both had 2 tickets. I had a mixed and a doubles ticket. You had 3 tickets.
I actually had 3 because I had singles as well.
So we got to play in multiple events, which is nice.
And it was at Pictona, which is in Holly Hill,
near
Florida.
Daytona.
Very, very close to Daytona Beach. So that's where we were at. We drove down, left late on a Tuesday night, and returned on a Sunday afternoon. Got back late. It was...
But we took our kids. That's
did.
why. We didn't take them to California, and so we took them out of school. They really did a phenomenal job.
Yeah, that's my overall impression of the week.
It was really fun.
It was just great being with
We also had Matt Carpenter as
our friend Matt,
honorary Brandenberger.
And he was awesome.
He was so
best
great.
Brandenberger.
He is the best Brandenberger.
For sure. He was great. We really had a great time. But let's get into play. Abby, you can kind of talk about your play first.
Yeah. So I played doubles on Thursday with my friend Kelly, and the thing is we had tried to get...
That's women's doubles,
women's
just
doubles.
to be clear.
Yeah.
Because Kelly could be a boy's name,
Kelly
too.
could, but I'm not a boy.
Right. But we will say women's doubles.
Okay, women's doubles. And so we had tried to get some play together, and it just wasn't working out. And I think there's something to be said for playing together for a little bit before you go into a tournament, just working out your
100%.
communication.
Yeah.
So we hadn't played together in a while, and she's left-handed, which is not confusing to her because she's left-handed, but it's confusing to me. So I struggled a little bit just remembering. So, I feel like this is a whole topic, this right-sided and left-sided player. I'm typically a right-sided player. I think right now that's where my skill set lies. So I had to play on the left side because our forehands were in the middle, and that threw me. And so I made too many mistakes. I just couldn't get my act together. So
to be fair, it was the worst I had seen you play in months.
Right, Matt, I said that.
Yeah.
It's the worst I've ever seen you play.
Yeah, and not ever.
Not ever.
When you first picked up a paddle,
That was
you were
pretty
worse.
terrible.
No,
So-
After having a baby.
Right.
Yeah. And her ACL surgery.
Yep.
Those are the only other times.
So I want to say I had fun with Kelly, though. I love Kelly.
Yeah,
and
she's great.
She's great. We had a good time together. I felt very disappointed in my play.
Yeah,
So,
and ideally playing with having one right and one left-handed player on a team is ideal.
that should be great.
It should be.
But I could not adjust in my brain to that.
Exactly. If you have not played enough together to kind of know who is going to take that ball in the middle, that's tough. And I think
Right.
your biggest takeaway after that I felt as well was you really did recognize you are more of a support player.
So if you want to use like alpha and beta,
Yeah.
I'm a beta player. I just am.
And not that you were supposed to be an alpha
No.
player, but with Kelly, it was more like an
An
equal partnership.
Right.
And you need to be
40%.
40,
30.
With me, 10.
10 with Matt.
When
29.
when I hog the court, it might be down to 10%.
Yeah.
No.
And I'm okay with that role, honestly.
Yeah. Well, and
It paid off.
Get into your next day because let me just tell you. After that night, Abby was like, I think I'm done with pickleball. I can't play competitively. I don't have it.
It threw me.
I get to tournaments and I'm not playing well. I let my partner down. She was just super frustrated.
I had an existential crisis.
She did.
Oh,
But
Thursday night.
her amazing husband, encourager, said tomorrow's a new day.
Matt Carpenter was
He's
very
so
encouraging
humble.
too.
Okay.
I have two encouragers in my house, Matt and Matt.
Two Matts. Yeah. It was an interesting time. I mean, everything was above board.
I was going to say bonus
Yeah,
content.
yeah.
There's no bonus content.
Let me just say that to you. Another thing about Matt Carpenter. There's very few guys in this world that I would be comfortable like sharing my house with.
Our 5 daughters and
our
your
5
wife.
daughters and my wife over the course of like a week long. Matt's like
He's one of them.
He's definitely probably the number one. Just such a great guy.
That's
and
awesome.
We just had a lot of fun.
We had
together.
a ton of fun.
Anyways.
So
your next day.
So the
is
next day, so
mixed
then
doubles.
mixed doubles, I played with my friend Josh Walker, who destroyed it, just killed it. But I could play my role like that right-sided. We didn't even stack the whole time.
Right.
We stacked when we needed to. I think our strategy was really good.
So get into when you say because that already threw me off. When you needed to, well, when did you need to?
So here's when if we can play straight up and win, we're just going to play straight up because to me, and Matt and I actually have different views on this. To me, stacking is a weapon, not something you should automatically do. That's just my opinion.
And
you don't
then-
agree with that.
Yeah, my opinion would be you bring your best. So,
Always.
So
That's what I'm
So
thinking
if,
too.
if you're best stacking, then you
Yeah.
start out with that, and
Of
then if you
course.
need to switch it up, so it's just a difference of philosophy. Yeah.
I don't mind. I like playing straight up as long as we can.
And I will say that after watching Josh and Abby play together, I feel like I learned something too, just in terms of what my role can be to better help Abby when we partner together too. So,
Yeah, and to be like in the gold medal match, we actually reverse stacked me on the left just because we got stuck at 6 points. We couldn't, so it just
to
sometimes
mix it up.
mixes it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
And anyway, so we won gold, and I mean that was, it's like I needed that emotionally at that time. But I could play my left-sided role when I needed to. That steady. So like I feel like I'm gonna give a shout out to our gold medal opponents. Nicole Hanlon, and he goes by Squibby because his how do you say his last name?
Esquivel, I think.
Esquivel.
Yeah.
It's a B. Esquivel.
Yeah.
Anyways, Josh. So if you guys are listening, and I had watched Nicole and then her female partner we played in the bronze medal match win silver in 4-5 the day before.
Okay.
I was like, I'm gonna get slaughtered. Like seriously, I was like, I don't stand a chance. But Nicole her reputation is steady. She is consistent.
One of the most consistent players I've ever seen.
And I mean, she's not super fancy.
Right. But she gets it done. And
everybody knows Nicole is consistent and steady. So I had to channel. I was like, I'm going to be Nicole today.
Yeah. And you did it. And I will say, from going the day before and saying some of her worst, like this was hands down the best I had ever seen her play.
Yeah. I
was kind of a little bit like, babe, where's this been?
Yeah.
Like when we play together, you like Josh better than me? What's going on? No.
Maybe.
Yeah. And again, maybe he does some things better than I do for sure. But I also can learn just from not he trusted Abby more.
He did. And you say you trust me, but sometimes I feel like you don't show me that you trust me.
I hog the middle a little too much.
Yeah. So. And and I also so Josh was the aggressive when he needed to be, great shots. I was just the steady, not fancy.
You played your
backboard
role to perfection. Yep.
I did.
Yep.
And I'm really thankful. So, I mean, our opponents, all of their opponents were so great. I mean, we just had a great time. Like, again, that's what I love about pickleball is a lady we beat. She's like, hands me your card. Hey, if you're ever in Massachusetts, look me up. Yeah. I'd love to play with you. And I'm like, you're the best.
Yeah.
I love it.
That is what's great. I've got several stories like that as well. But one thing from this particular one, and this happened several times, you had the gold medalists, the silver medalists, and the bronze medalists, all from Indiana.
Yeah,
so shout out to Hoosier Pickleball.
Yeah.
So Abby and Josh, obviously from Fort Wayne area, and then the silver and bronze were both from like
Elkhart,
South Bend, Elkhart, like up in the northern part of the state. But this is a nationwide tournament, and to have, and that wasn't, I mean, it was like that in many divisions.
That's wild.
And I have to say, we played 19 plus because Josh is 33, I believe. So I was the literal second oldest person in the entire pool.
That's really fun.
When you guys text me, that you won gold, not knowing the previous story, like I was so excited. But man, that is so cool to know the level that you had to get from the previous day, and to just
I had to dig deep because I was like so down on myself. But I do think at some point, and I want to make sure we write this down, I want to talk through left and right sided playing because there's a whole thing with that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So that's a show.
Yeah, for sure. And getting some either pros or some really high level people to talk about that as well at different levels would be great also. Anything else to add from your tournament experience? I think we'll take a quick break then. We'll come back and the show will take a little bit of a turn. It gets a little sad as we talk about my play. But we will be right back. Come join the fun at pickleballrocks.com, your trusted authority when it comes to all your pickleball needs. Apparel, paddles, bags, hats, you name it, you'll find it there. Family owned and operated for nearly 15 years.
Matt and I are growth pros for Pickleball Rocks, and for being a loyal listener of the One More Game podcast, we can offer you a 15% discount at checkout when you use the code MATTB15. So head over to pickleballrocks.com and check it out. Let's play.
All right, welcome back to One More Game presented by Hoosier Pickleball. We are talking about our experience at Pictona, which was the Diamond Amateur Championships that were earlier this month, just a week or so ago, down in Holly Hill, Florida. We talked about Abby winning a gold in mixed, and now we're going to talk about my 3 events that I played in. So we got down there. The first day was women's, so I got to just watch Abby play and watch her struggle, and it was kind of sad. And then I played mixed at the same time Abby did. So we really didn't get to watch many until
I didn't see any of your games.
Yeah, you didn't see any of my games.
Wow.
And my partner was Heidi, who I play with quite a bit, and had not played a ton together recently. She's had just some health issues, and we haven't gotten to play as much as we would like to, but played really well. We were in, it's so interesting, so we're in 4-0 35 plus.
And I was 4-0 19 plus.
Right. So on paper, you would think that the 19 plus would be a stronger division, and not to rain on your parade, but
it's okay.
It wasn't close. And
right. I looked at dupers. They were all fair.
And so a lot of the folks that were in the 35 plus were closer to 5-0 players than 4-0 for sure.
I mean, there was a 5-0 winner.
Yeah.
in your
and
a 4-5 winner.
Yeah. So in our pool, the way they did this, and we didn't really talk about this, typically you have like in a big tournament like this, double elimination. So instead of that, they did pool play. So we were divided into 2 pools, 5 or 6 teams each, and you played everybody, which was great.
So great, because you don't go to Florida and you play 2 times and then.
Yeah, so great unless you happen to only lose 1 game, as Heidi and I did, and then the backup system is points. And so since we had only scored 10 points in one of the games we lost.
Because they were to 15.
They were to 15. The
I
other
was going
team,
to say only 10. What do you mean?
We played to 15 in the round robin.
Yeah, and so it's 1 game to 15 instead of usually 3 game, best of 3 to 11. So different format. I liked it.
There's
for
pros
the most
and cons.
part. Definitely
Sure.
pros and cons, but we were on the con side of things because we got left out, and it was in a game that we had lost one of our first couple games, and then we won the rest. We were playing great. We're like, oh sweet, we're on to the knockout phase, the tournament, whatever you want to call it, the playoff. And then we're like, oh crap, the team we lost to.
Because didn't you have 3 teams?
Yep, 3 teams all finished 4-1.
That's the problem.
And there was a team that was undefeated that had beat us, and then they lost to a team that we had beat earlier last.
Jeez.
So it was just kind of, I was talking about this with a friend afterwards, and I think if I were, and I love this sort of thing, so I like to think about these things. If I were designing this, I think I would take 6 teams instead of just 4. And I would incentivize the winner of each pool to get a bye.
Yeah.
And then take the other 2 wild cards from each pool. That way you'd have a little bit bigger tournament.
And
playoff.
they had empty courts, so it's not like
they had.
Wow.
And there was, to be fair, in your 35 plus, there was some trouble in the other pool too.
There was. So
they really should have pulled 3 from that
Yeah.
pool as well.
I don't want to get into that whole
we
thing
don't
because
have
that was a long story and kind of controversial, but it would have been very easy for them. And actually, a friend of mine went and talked to the tournament director and said, "Can we take 3 from each?" And
They should have done
a
it.
pretty good reason why, but they didn't. We didn't make it. But after that day, it was my first day. Played well. I was frustrated that we weren't into the medal rounds and whatnot, but Heidi and I played well. Didn't really have any games that we felt like, oh dang. The one we lost, I feel like we should have won.
And they got bronze.
And that team ended up getting silver. Oh no, you're right. They did end up getting bronze.
So they did medal. I mean,
yeah. So it is what it is. But the mixed day overall, it was then fun. Once I was done, I was glad I was able to watch Abby, and that was, our kids aren't quite at the age where we get to watch them, and you get like that sense of pride for your kids doing things. So
you felt like that for me.
Absolutely. It was fun. There's not.
I would too.
Yeah.
I would love to be out there.
You guys are the best.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun watching them, and they just played such good games against good people, like we said. Nicole and Squibby in the final, just great people, good competition.
Really fun, nice people.
Yep. So the next day was with my men's partner, Jeff Coyle, who we play together a lot. And so this is kind of like we win more than we lose. In terms, we've taken gold. We won nationals together. We won.
Well, you won to get there together.
We've won other tournaments. In Cincinnati, we won the PPA event together. So we're gamers. I mean, when it's time, it's like, okay, so this is our day. And I just can't describe it other than it just wasn't there for me, for him. We were running into each other.
He was very sick.
The week before, yeah.
You know how influenza is taking the entire world down right now.
That is true.
He had it. And I just think he said he felt good, and I believe that, but I still think
right, but I'm not blaming him at all. I was every bit as bad.
Right, I'm just saying you have to mention that there was some illness involved.
There definitely was, and so maybe he wasn't, I don't know what he would say, maybe wasn't quite as sharp. But we were just kind of, like I said, there were multiple times we like ran into each other. I was almost, maybe that subconsciously I was trying to overplay like I do sometimes with you. And I was, running into him. But it was just, that was a frustrating day because we went 2 and 3 in pool play, didn't even sniff getting out of the pool. And the teams we lost to, we shouldn't have lost to, but it was a solid division as well, though.
It really was.
Yeah, but it was a tough day. But I had singles, which I'm not really singles is kind of like I play every once in a while. That's not why I go to these tournaments, but I had a ticket, might as well use it. And I was playing I was like the very lowest in the 4-0 division because
It's just not your thing.
yeah, I had won at 3-5 to get there, and have won other tournaments at 3-5, but I knew the 4-0 competition would be tough. And then so here's kind of a funny story: is my very first person I played, I looked at the draw and I said Squibby was one of them. I was like, oh man, I just hope I don't get Squibby. And that's who the draw was. And it's because you hate playing somebody you kind of know and you like. But I'm telling you, like, it even gives me chills just kind of thinking about it. It was like one of my favorite games I've ever played, definitely in a tournament, because it was like knocked down. Like, I honestly went into it, like, I hate even admitting this, thinking like, oh gosh, just score a couple points, don't get embarrassed here. And I got up like 3 or 4 early, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I can hang. And so then my mindset changes, and it ended up being like a 45-minute match. I think I looked on the.
Was it 17-15?
Yeah, and it was 17-15. And there were so many calls like down the stretch. We always joke about like a tournament out call, like the ball kind of goes and it's right on the line, and it's like, well, you're playing rec play and you're like, yeah, I was in. But you're like, that's tournament out. Like, if we're in a tournament, I'm not giving that to you. But like our calls, like, yeah, I just remember one specifically.
Generous, yeah.
He was very generous on one that I do believe caught the line, but it was the outside
you could definitely
line.
have called it out.
He could have easily called it out,
right.
And I couldn't have like blushed at it. It'd been like, yeah, well, it was.
He's closer to it.
Pretty dang close,
Mm-hmm.
right?
I mean,
but he gave it to me. So then, what do I do? The very next one, I had one. I gave it to him. So it wasn't like a. It was just he's such a nice guy. He invited us over to come hang at their place afterwards.
Did they have hot water?
I should have asked that.
We should ask that. They had boogie boards. Our girls were excited about that.
Need that hot.
You got a hot shower.
Need that hot agua.
So I really, my respect for that guy. I already liked him, but it was through the roof. Just super cool guy. And the only thing that sucked was the way I won. Then it was this knockdown, drag out battle.
Oh yes! Oh my goodness!
The ball clipped the net and fell over on his side that he didn't even.
You
have
can't
a
even
chance
get
for
to.
It. Like, yeah.
And singles, get out
No
of here.
way. Yeah.
it was
doubles
just,
maybe.
And it was just almost embarrassing to win like that. But what am I going to say? No, I'm not taking it.
Right.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
right.
It's like, yeah, I'll
It
take
is
it.
what it is.
So then I went on in singles, and we'll have to put this in the show notes because I did
Oh
have.
my word! The hilarious point.
Yeah, the point that maybe typifies me more than any.
On the
other thing.
ground.
I was on the ground.
He falls.
I'd probably been on the ground, 10 times at least.
Already.
Diving for stuff and being an idiot. And this was the end of a game. Again, pretty
Super
solid
nice guy.
opponent. I had won my first one, beat Squibby, went on, and had a pretty tough match against a guy who ended up getting gold. And I hung with him pretty well. So like
Oh,
I
you
almost
did. I didn't realize he got gold.
Yeah, so
he was good. Yeah.
Yeah. So I kind of feel like my mentality should change. If I had more time to dedicate to singles, I do think I would be a
You would. You're very
halfway-
good at placement.
decent singles player.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, then I lost that match, went in the loser's bracket, won this one, and the way I won it was on the very last point. I'm on my back.
He falls on the ground.
Yeah. And just like right behind the kitchen line. I was not in the kitchen. I did go back in video and watch it. And the guy's just trying to hit it back because he's like, oh, this guy's down. I'm fine.
Like hit it to where the guy's not laying on the ground.
And with my backhand from the ground sitting on my butt, I knocked it back over the net. And the guy was like so surprised by it. He should have gotten it back again, but he was like, what? And
He thought the point was over.
yeah, and hit it out, and that was the
He's
end.
like, I lost to a guy laying on the ground.
Yeah.
Because I was talking to him afterwards.
Right.
He's like, that's so embarrassing.
I mean, it is.
I was cracking up.
It was a little embarrassing for him. But then his buddy they were from Montana, a bunch of nice guys out
Really
there
nice
too.
people, yeah.
And they
Then you lost to his friend,
to
right?
his friend.
Yeah.
And his friend, this is kind of concludes my portion of it. His friend said, I was giving him so much crap because he couldn't handle your spin serve. And then he said, and then I saw your spin serve and it was giving me trouble too. And this was a guy, his nickname, like you can do a nickname, and his nickname was the Spin Master.
I didn't know that.
Oh.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah, but this
Spinach.
this was the last tournament where you could do the spin serve, where you can.
Right. It is going away.
Yeah, it is gone now.
Dundee.
So I played, rec play earlier this week,
And you couldn't.
I could, but it was kind of
What's the
like,
point?
yeah, what's the point? Because there's no more tournaments you can play with it. January 1st. RIP spin serve. So I mean, I do feel like I'll have to kind of reinvent my game a little bit. That usually does get me a point or two in games that we play.
Yep.
So, but overall, my takeaways were it was you either win or learn. I learned a lot.
I did too. I learned.
Yeah. You won and learned.
I won. I
It
got
was
it
a
all.
win-win for you.
It was win-win
Way to
and
go.
learn. Win-win, learn.
Win-win, learn. So,
Yeah. I
But
mean,
good week.
yeah.
Yeah, you know what? Like, a few more thoughts, but let's take one more
Yeah.
quick break, and then we'll come back, kind of wrap everything up, talk about comparing nationals to this tournament and kind of some of the fun things we did with the family.
Okay.
We'll be right back.
Are you new to the game of pickleball and looking to learn the basics? Or maybe you're an experienced player who wants to take your game to the next level? Both Matt and I would love to help.
That's right, Abby. We are both Level 2 IPTPA certified instructors and would love working with you, either giving you private lessons, group lessons, or hosting a clinic. We also offer unique video coaching utilizing the latest in drone technology. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, or TikTok by searching Hoosier Pickleball, or email us at hoosierpickleball@gmail.com. Also, check out the show notes for all the links to our social channels.
All right, welcome back to One More Game presented by Hoosier Pickleball. So we are talking about our experience at Pictona for the Diamond Amateur Championship, and we had also been out to California for nationals. So, Abs, what are some of your kind of thoughts on contrasting the two of those?
I would say, as I look at dupers even, the Pictona was more, I don't want to say reasonable, but they were more in line with the level of competition. Does that make sense? So like when I looked at everybody's dupers that I faced, we were all similar.
Right.
But when I look at the California, we're talking lots of 5-0s and above. So still really good competition, really good people. I think California was a touch higher. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think so. And I think it does. I hadn't really thought of this till you just said that now. It does speak to the fact that when you registered for nationals, it was a little bit earlier, so your rating might have been a little bit lower than what it is now, where Florida was a little bit closer. And so that's why you would see you had, I mean, there were some teams in our mix when you and I played together in California that had no business being in 4-0. I mean, they were borderline 5-0. Now, there was some of that, and I did say that in our pool, we had some tough teams, but I mean, and the draws were bigger too. We had 35 teams or 32 teams in ours, and so we had a ton of really good teams opposed to, a smaller
12.
Sample size. So
Yeah.
that would have been one thing.
Yeah, and I think we had more people go to Florida, so there was more success from the Fort Wayne or Indiana area.
Yep.
I think in California, Sarah won 2 medals, and Jean Heffron won 2 medals, but was that it?
That might have been it. Sorry if we're forgetting one of our friends, but
Yeah, and then but in Florida there were more people, but I think just Fort Wayne we had 17 medals.
right, and that doesn't count like our South Bend.
Right, that doesn't
friends and
count.
some of those extending area people as well.
Yeah,
But,
so it was fun to celebrate with everybody.
Yeah, yeah. And that's what my takeaway would be is the more people you have and you're together. It was fun being in California. We had a house together with other friends, but I did enjoy having more people. It felt like in Florida, and having our family around. I mean, I can't say that enough. It was so fun. The girls, I've never seen them. Like pickleball to them has been like every once in a while they'll hit around with us in the basement, and I kind of thought like we'd be at the courts when we play, and then we'd go to the beach or we'd go do other things because they wouldn't want to be around. Like when we weren't playing, they wanted to play. And so I was actually shocked with a couple of our kids how good they have gotten at pickleball. Our oldest is going to play tennis next year, and she's just an athlete in general. And so she was hitting it around and like was really, I mean, I could take them out and dink with them and get decent practice in.
I think they caught the bug, which is fun.
That is fun. And so it's fun to think about, maybe them starting to compete and kind of, going a little bit different avenue as well.
Yeah.
So.
And I do want to tell the story that I just thought was really kind of encapsulated our trip was Matt loses in his doubles. So he's done, and there's no chance of getting out, to the medal round, which is just so disappointing.
And let me just paint the picture. I was super disappointed. I was
sad for you.
Frustrating.
Yeah.
That was the end of my doubles time. I knew all I had left was singles, and I was just sitting on a bench with my head buried in a towel, just kind of, I mean, not in tears, but just super frustrated.
I get it.
Yeah. And one of my little girls.
And so we also live stream on Facebook, Hoosier Pickleball.
Mm-hmm. I hadn't even taken the time to go turn it off.
He hadn't even turned it off. Okay. So then, I don't know, Eleanor, I think.
Yeah, or Parker, I can't remember.
One of them.
Yeah, one of the younger girls.
Is like, Dad, come dink with me or hit with me. So he's out there. Well, anyways, it was just so sweet. Our friend Jean Heffron, she writes a comment and she said, Matt dinking with his daughters right after a tough loss is exactly why I love Matt. And I was like, same, Jean, same. Oh. But I feel like was our, like, it's still just pickleball.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I had to remind myself. I mean, I kind of wanted to wallow in my self-pity at that moment, but I was like, no, I'm here. My kids have come out. Like, get out there and hit around. And it really was kind of a sweet moment.
Yeah, so that was really,
putting everything
really
in
sweet.
perspective.
Yep.
For sure.
Yep.
Anything else? I mean,
I still feel like we need to make one more shout out to Matt Carpenter because the two of you did most of the driving there and back. So
17
great
hours
job.
Both ways. And so it was really a blessing to have him along to split that driving up. Usually I'll do the majority of it and Abby will help out, but to have him allowed me to sleep a little bit. We did listen to the Colts game on the way back. The last quarter of that Colts game was.
Why would you do that?
That was that put a cap on the whole week, on the whole week for me for sure. So definitely shout out to Matt. It was great having him along. So and thanks for all his support. He's one of our biggest listeners. Always with encouraging words.
Yeah.
So things we love. Let's end with that.
You go first because this is
groundbreaking.
Is this like on par with In-N-Out Burger?
Oh, it's close. Yeah. When we're out west, anytime we eat it In-N-Out several times, but this was a new discovery for me. Usually I'm kind of just a stick with my guns when I go to like ice cream, just vanilla, hot fudge, maybe
light on the hot fudge,
some bananas
in there.
But I saw this one up there and I was like, what is dulce
de leche?
Dulce. You need to have a little.
No.
Yes, I actually looked it up.
Did you
on YouTube?
It's Spanish?
It is.
I thought it was French.
Why are we whispering?
Or maybe not. I don't know. Dulce de leche, a sundae from Haagen-Dazs. Went there not once, but twice.
Matt Carpenter paid.
Hey, another reason we love him. Anybody who wants to buy us things we love, for sure.
Absolutely.
You brought him and made him pay?
Did not make him pay. He's like the most, he's like the most generous person. He's like, I'm getting ice cream. We're like, no, you're not. He's like, I'm paying. We're like, okay.
How much do you protest?
Right. Yeah. But it was amazing. So they did have bananas, which was a fun surprise. It's like caramel and like
we had it twice.
Leche means milk, so I love milk. So all of it. I loved all of it.
He had it twice.
I did have it twice. Yeah. So that's what I'm loving.
Yeah. So I'm loving hot water. Hopefully, we still don't have hot water like at this moment.
Oh.
But hopefully
by
tonight.
the time you get home, I think you might
we'll have hot water.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
So hot water, and also during Christmas, one thing you need to know about me is I wear awesome Christmas shirts. So if you're watching on YouTube,
this
is my beautiful Christmas shirt.
Subjective. But it is cute. I do like that one with a little Rudolph's on it.
I did make the comment that I thought you were going to an ugly Christmas.
No, this is just where I am in the month of December. This is just where I live.
Last night we had a function at school, and her and our 6-year-old daughter made the decision that they were going to make it.
Hold on, not me. Eleanor, it was like, we're wearing Christmas PJs and you're wearing your Belle's earrings. And I was like,
you went all in.
I did.
You wore everything.
We were the only two. We looked like idiots. I don't even care.
Yeah.
Eleanor loved it. So.
Did you get a picture?
We did.
Okay, good. Might have to put that in the show notes as well.
Yeah.
It was great.
All right. Well, that's going
Thanks for
to
listening.
Wrap us up. Thank you, as always, for listening. Spread the word. Give us that 5-star rating. That helps us grow the show. And we will see you next week.
As always, we want to thank our sponsors, Hoosier Pickleball, Indiana Physical Therapy, and Pickleball Rocks. In addition, a big thank you to our production company, Coraggio Media, and the 95.7 WELT studio in beautiful downtown Fort Wayne. Please make sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts or find us on YouTube at One More Game Pod. That's the number 1 More Game Pod. Hit that subscribe button and be sure to leave us a 5-star rating to help us spread the word. You can also find us on Facebook and TikTok at Hoosier Pickleball for all kinds of fun, tips, tricks, and other family nonsense, and also some great discussion. Thanks for listening, and we will see you next week.